Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with Me, and we're going to make a little waterfall. I guess you could call it a waterfall journaling card, or you could even call it a waterfall pocket, because we're going to make a place behind it where you can put a little tag in there. But this is my prototype, and I just did it on some scrap paper, so that will waterfall down. And then this is going to be our closure. And we'll close it up with some seam binding. Sorry about that. I had it completely out of frame. Apologize. All right. That's my little prototype. I watched this the other night on 2 different YouTube channels. And I can't remember the first one. And I looked and I couldn't find it. But I did see it on Carol Law's YouTube channel. And I'll link hers below. But I'm going to do mine a little bit different than what she did. I'm going to do a little variation of it. Now, I've got some cardstock, and it's just some cream colored cardstock. I've got one that's cut 3 inches by 10 inches, so it's 3 by 10. I have one that is, I wrote my measurements down on here so I wouldn't forget, 3 by 6.5, so that's that one. And then I've got one that is 3 by 4 3/4, so that's that one. So that's, if you're doing it like me, and you don't have to, I adjusted mine to my journal, but you can do it any way that you want. So you're going to need 3 pieces if you're going to do this type waterfall. And you're going to take your 10-inch long piece, and you're going to put it in your scoreboard, and you're going to score it at 2. And then you're going to flip it around, and we're going to score at... Let me see. That's the only thing I didn't write down. Where did I score there? I scored it at 1.5 and 1 1/4. So 1.5, 1 1/4. If you hear something beeping, it's my little robot vacuum. He's hung up under my table, and I don't have time to fool with him, so I just left him hanging there. Every so often he reminds me that he's still there. Okay, then you're going to take your 6.5 inch piece, and you're going to score it at 2, just on one end. Don't score it on both ends, just score it at 2. Then take your 4 3/4 inch piece, and you're going to score it at 2, just on one end. Okay, so that is our scoring. Okay, go ahead and fold and burnish all your score lines, just making sure that you get it as straight as possible. And I like to use my Teflon bone folder. A lot of people ask me what this bone folder is that folds so well, and I'll tell you, it is a Teflon bone folder, and it is fantastic. I love this little edge right here to press that over. You can press it down to where it almost just stays by itself. Let's see. Oops. And we had a few. I'm not sure if they're sold out yet or not, but we've got more coming in. They're so hard to get and so hard to keep. I don't know if the place that makes them, if they don't make but 2 or 3 at a time or what. But usually when we get them, we can only get like 20 at a time, and that's it. And they're usually sold out in a day or 2. So, okay. So there is our scoring right there. 2 inch up here, and then here's our little piece at the bottom, and it's folded like that. And then we've got this one and this one. So that's going to be our waterfall. And I think I'm going to end up having to trim this one off. And that's okay if I have to trim them off at the end. I'm not worried about that part. Now the paper that we're going to use to cover them with is going to be some of Betty's paper. This is the vintage floral that I showed the other day on the video from Betty's Custom Designs on Etsy. This paper is gorgeous. Now, I'm going to be making a rose journal, so I want to use this. I think I want to use that one. All right, now this back under here is going to be left for journaling. So what we're going to cover is this right here. And you're going to start with your top one, and you're going to start with the top of your page that you're going to digital or whatever you're going to cover it with. So I'm going to start up here, and I'm going to cover this one. Now, you know me, I don't like to measure and cut these, but I think in this case I'll go ahead and cut it at 3, just so that I don't have so much paper hanging out here. I usually just glue it down and then trim it, but I think this time we might cut it off. And I'm hoping I'm going to cut it correctly here. Okay. All right. Now again, this is my top side of my paper. And if you have to mark that, just go ahead and mark it, because you're going to need to know which is the top and which is the bottom. Because we're going to make this waterfall match all the way down. And Carol shows on her video how to do that. And I think the other one that I watched showed the same thing. I think they basically did it pretty much alike. They may have changed a few things, a few variations, but not much. Now I'm just going to fold this out, and I'm going to put my little glue mat down here. This is a non-stick craft mat. This is just a piece of mine. I've got another one that's whole, but this is one that I've had for many years, and I actually accidentally cut it one day. So I just went ahead and cut part of it up, and I use this for my glue mat. I use it when I'm putting on glue stick, anything, and that glue just washes right off of it. It's fantastic. I use it for inking, all kinds of things. Now I am going to trim here, and I'm going to go slow and try my best to trim very carefully, because we're going to need this to be straight and this to be straight. And once again, I'm just going to go over that with my bone folder. There we go. All right, and we will ink this when I finish. I'm not going to ink it right now. Now this one, which is your second one, go ahead and move that one out. This one is going to glue right here, right up against the end of this one. But I'm going to go ahead and cover this with my paper first. I think that'll be a little bit easier for me. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't covered one with paper yet. I just made that other one and didn't cover it. Just out of some scrap paper. Okay, now see, if we put this on right, it's going to match up perfectly with that. You know, we probably should have put it on and then put this paper on. Oh well, it's over and done with now, so let's see. Oh yeah, that's going to match up perfect, see? Okay. So, go ahead and burnish that down, and then we'll trim this off real carefully. Now I've got just a little bit of an overhang here, and I'm going to trim it. I probably didn't get it exactly straight, but that's okay. Okay, let me make sure which is the top. That's the top. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and glue this one down just so I can see where I am. So I'm going to put just a tiny little bead of glue right at the top of that, just right along that top. And I'm just going to press it in a little bit so I don't have so much glue. Close this down, and then butt this right up against that one as close as you can without going over or, you know, putting it underneath, anything like that. Just butt it up against it. Okay, we have that one on. Nice there. So we're going to go ahead and put, I may go ahead and glue this one down just so that I don't. But first, what I am going to do, and let me grab my glasses again. I had to stop and answer the phone because I am the only one here right this minute. Okay, that one doesn't need cutting. That one's good. This little piece needs to make sure that it'll fit inside this, and that still close up like that. So that's good. This one I'm going to have to trim, I know. So I think I might go ahead and mark it and trim it before I put this one on. That way it'll be a little bit easier to cut off. So I'm going to cut it off right there. So we can adjust the size on this one instead of it being as long as it was. I'll tell you what size it does end up. I'm negotiating some boxes from a box manufacturer, so that's why I've had to stop and answer calls today. All right. Okay, this one, this one is 4 1/2 instead of 4 3/4. So on the last one, cut it 4 1/2. So I'm going to change my little note here on mine so that I can make another one and it may not have to trim it off. So we're going to go ahead and glue this one down, and then we'll put the paper on there. Okay. All right, again, you're going to butt it right up against that one. Just don't go over. Don't glue that one down. And then we're going to put this piece of paper on there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this down to 2 inches just so that I don't have to try to trim it after I get it glued down. You can do it either way, but I'm just going to go ahead and trim mine. Isn't this paper beautiful? I am in love with it. Love, love, love it. I'm going to make a rose journal with this paper. So it will be a rose journal. That will be, let's see. I'm finishing up 2 right now, so that'll be probably next month in February. I don't do Valentine per se, but I can do a rose journal. All right. I'm not too big at making a lot of Valentine stuff, you know. I just never have been. That's not my cup of tea. Okay. So we've got a flap here. We've got journaling spaces. We've got one here, journaling spaces, and one here in journaling spaces. And then you could always flip that up and do journaling there. So I'm going to press those back down. Now they won't stay down right now, but I'm going to show you what we're going to do. But first off, the first thing that we're going to do, I'm going to make sure this folds up correctly, and it looks like it does. Just don't want it to be crooked. All right. I have a little bit of an overhang. A little bit of an overhang here, so I'm going to trim that off. I don't know if I cut my paper a little bit crooked or what, but there, that's much better. Now, this little piece, we're going to cut or punch a couple of little circles to go on there. Let me grab my paper. And actually, I have used up all of my scraps. So, I'm going to be cutting into new paper, and that's okay. All right, this is a 1-inch punch, and I'm just using some brown cardstock. And I punched 3. You probably wouldn't have to, but I like for my little buttons to be nice and thick so that they don't bend or anything when you wrap things around them. Okay. We've got those put together. All right. Those are put together like that. And excuse my fingers. I have been inking and gluing and everything else all morning long. So my fingers are a mess. And I've tried to get it off, but it just don't all come off. So I am inking around the edge of this and just a little bit up on the button part. I don't want it completely dark, but I just want it a little bit darker than what it was. So that's what we've got right there. This is going to go right here, in the center of that. And I'm going to put mine on with a little brad. Let me look and see if I have, what kind of brad I have in here. I may have to go to my other. We could do, let's see. We could do that, and that's actually a little heart. Oh, I say I'm not doing Valentine, and then everything that I look at has got Valentine. All right, I am going to mark the center of this as best I can. This is not one of my specialties here, getting these holes in the center. I know you can measure and all that kind of stuff, but you know me. I don't want to measure. Okay, let's see. That looks pretty good. Okay. So we're going to try our best. This is a little 1/8 inch hole punch. It's just a little tiny one. I'll link it below. And then I'm going to put my little brad in there. Now on this, I probably will measure and find my center. Use my Tim Holtz ruler with the 0 there. Let's see, there and there. And I need to invest in another Tim Holtz ruler because I actually used mine. One day, I had some cleaner on my table and I was using my ruler, and my cleaner actually took some of the stamping off of my ruler, so I've got some little spaces that don't have any of that black on there. So don't use cleaner on here, just use regular. If you get something on it, just use a little bit of alcohol or something like that to clean it off, because a specific cleaner, and I can't even remember what I was using, but it will definitely take the color off of that, or the imprint off of it. All right, now I've marked 2 places, and I'm just going to kind of go between them because I don't want it too low and I don't want it too high. And then I'm going to go in and erase those little marks. There we go. And then we're going to put that little button, as I call it, there, and press that down. Now, if you want to go ahead and put, you know, something on here, that will be fine. I'm not going to worry about that. Not going to worry at all. But I am going to ink a little bit. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to ink in some Victorian Velvet instead of the brown ink. I think this will look much better. Okay, I think on this I have changed my mind. I'm going to go ahead and put a little piece of this paper down there just to cover up that brad. And, you know, when this opens up, you can see the paper instead of that brad. Not that it needs it. I just happen to have a little piece of paper left here, so we'll just use it up. And you could have also put a piece of paper on here if you'd wanted to before you put that little brad down, but I'm just going to leave mine like that. I don't mind. That's fine. I might do that on one of the other ones because I plan on making a few of these. This is from Erin at my Scrap Cabin shop on Etsy. And she asked me would I do some reviews on some of her crinkle seam binding, and I said yes, I would love to. I have had her seam binding before and I absolutely love it. So she sent me quite a big package here, so we're going to find one that's going to go with that. I think I see one right now. Ooh, that looks pretty. And what I like about it is all of hers are like, see, it's my Scrap Cabin shop, and they're, yeah, coral. So they're all named on the back side. So what do you think about that one? Would that work? I'm thinking that might work. Or maybe let's use this. What is this? This is called Rose Petal. Rose Petal might work better. Oh yeah, Rose Petal, it is. So I will be using lots of this seam binding over the next few weeks. And sorry about all the rattling, but you know how those bags are. But we'll be using it for different things. And let me find the end. She hides the end. That's it. No, I'm kidding. She doesn't hide it, but it is a little bit difficult for me to find. Some people might not have that issue. And I don't want to just cut it, you know. Aha, I found it. Right there. So we're going to cut enough seam binding to go behind that, go all the way down to the bottom, and wrap around this. So I only need... Let's see. Ooh, I don't even need that much. It's not going to take much at all. That's going to be plenty right there. So I'm going to trim that off. that will go back up. And then this piece is going to glue on the back right here. Now, if you are afraid this is not going to hold, your glue's not going to hold, or if you have an issue with it, you can always put a little bit of tape on top of this, because I'll tell you, this is not going to show. It's not going to show. Let me press that down. Press that down and hold it while I am getting a piece of really, really sticky washi tape. I'm just going to put some washi tape over it. Oops, that was crooked. Crooked as a dog's hind leg. All right, we're going to put another piece and see if we can get it a little bit straighter. Like I said, this is not going to show, so it doesn't matter, but, you know, I could do it a little bit better. Okay, there we go. Now that is going to hold it with no problem. Now what you're going to do is just pull this down, and then you're going to wrap this around your little button. And the first time will be a little bit tricky because your little button is all glued down there. Well, it's not glued down because your little button's a little bit tight, but that's okay. Just, you can do it. Just wind it around. So there is our little cascading piece. Isn't that cute? Now, once we glue this down, things are going to look a little bit different. But I'll show you how it would go in the journal. Now, this journal, it would definitely not go in, but this journal is almost finished. So we would glue it down, and I would glue it on this side, across the bottom, and then up through here. And you could still put a little tuck, or you could just glue it here and here and have a tuck this way. Different ways that you could glue it in. But, and then when you get ready to open it, just unwind, and there is all of your cascading parts right there. Isn't that cute? Now, the way Carol did hers, this piece was actually separate. And you could do it that way, of course. You don't have to do it the way that I did it. I just wanted mine all in one, so I put them all together. But you can do it any way that you want. Just make sure when you're putting this on there that you don't pull it too tight. Because if you do, then it's going to bow your pocket up like this. And you don't want that. So I'm just putting mine kind of loosely on there. And then we could decorate this a little bit. I don't know what we would decorate it with, though. Do you? I mean, this is so pretty. What would you add to that to make it look any better? All right, let's try. We may have a butterfly that would look okay on here. These are our acetate butterflies that we have in the store right now. I'm going to try the pink one. Well, it's kind of a reddish pink. Oh, that one will look pretty. But is it going to be too big? I don't think so. Okay. Now, these are not stickers. They're acetate, little acetate butterflies that you actually cut out. Now, but you don't have to trim it all the way out if you don't want to. I just usually take off the biggest part of the acetate, because if you glue it down well, you're not going to see that acetate anyway. So I just kind of take off the larger pieces, and then I go with that. I don't trim too close. So we could put that right there. Oh, I like that on there. That's cute. So let's go ahead and glue that down. And I'm going to use Fabri-Tac, because on acetate, Fabri-Tac is the best. It'll hold it down better than anything else. And these are stamped in a way that I haven't had any problem with the Fabri-Tac showing through. Let's put it, yeah, let's put it on this side for some reason. I think it would show more. on this side. Okay, so there's that one. And then I do want to put something down here, just some little pieces of something. And these come in all colors, the butterflies do. They're, we have red, we have brown, we have orange, or I think we have red anyway. Have lots of different colors, so we just need to pick the best one for you. All right, let's see what we have. We could put some little stems there. If I have any little stems. Okay, I think this is cute as a button, so I think I'm going to use some of that. And I'm going to put just a little piece of book page on either side of this. Like I said, this is hindsight 2020, you know how that goes. I should have probably covered this before I put my little piece on there, but I didn't, so we're going to go with what we have. It's not always a loss. You can fix it. Okay. I'll tear that off just a tiny bit more right there. But if you want to cover yours, just make sure you cover it before you put your little button down. You know me and my book pages. I love my book pages behind things. So we put that right there. Now I will tell you, and this is just me doing a couple of them, this doesn't need to be 1/4 of an inch. You could just score that 1/8 of an inch if you wanted to. Look at that. I've got 2 pieces of book page on there. I'm going to have to go ahead and glue this one down too. I always do that with that book. The pages are very thin. Okay, I'll glue that one on top of it. That'll work. Because this is, you know, it doesn't have to be that big. You're not going to put things under there. So just score it at 1/8 if you want. You just need a little bit to fold up. It probably wouldn't even have to be scored at all, but I just thought it might need a little bit of a score. Didn't want it to be so flat. Okay, put that on that side. I love that seam binding with that. Now that is pretty. Okay, and I'm going to trim off this little bitty end to this. There we go. Now you can definitely tighten this down once you glue it down in your book. I'm just leaving mine loose for right now. So we're going to cut a little piece of that off and put there, and then another little piece and put over here. So all is not lost. There's always a way we can fix it. Okay, there's that piece. And I think this one will work good. These are stickers. They're little washi stickers. And we have, I keep saying we have more of these coming in, and we do. They just haven't got here yet. They're in custom, so I'm hoping that they will be here very soon. Okay. And these are pretty sticky. You normally don't have to put anything else behind them. Any other glue. Just tucking them in right under my little piece there. Yes, I like that. Let's see that. I like it. Okay, I'm going to tuck this piece back in there because I can use it for something else. And then I'm going to see if I have just a little tiny label in here maybe. Just to go on one side there. Just something small. You know, that kind of goes. It's not exactly a label. Ooh, wait a minute. Hold the presses. Oh, I think I might put that there. What do you think? This is a Tim Holtz. It's a, what is this? This is out of his, I guess, bits and pieces. I don't know what the name of it is. I'll put it below if I can remember. It's what came in our AJ kit for December. very cute little pieces. Okay, so that is there. I am loving that. You know what? You could also put something on this. Ooh, wouldn't that be pretty? Put some little something there. Let's look at one of these little flowers that Katie did for us. Oh my goodness, look at that. What do you think? That one? The rest of them are a little bit brighter, so I don't know if they would work. Well, that one would probably work. Oh, I like that one better. It shows up better. So I'm going to put this on the seam binding. Now I need to make sure that I don't glue it down to everything else, so I'm going to take some of that glue off. I'll put it right there. And then while that is gluing, while that's setting, I'm just going to stick something underneath so it doesn't glue to my back page there, or to my little page. Okay, so that is that one. Isn't that cute? And then in there again, you do not have to leave this much of a tail. You can wrap it on around. You can tie it with a string. You can do lots of different things to this. But it's just another little variation of a journal spot / pocket for your journals. So let's make another one. And I think this one, let's see, do we want to make this one different? Or we want to make it just like it? Let's make this one a little bit different. Now, you can use pattern paper. I'm just choosing to use these digitals because I actually am going to be using the digitals in a kit here before long. So let me go ahead and cut my paper, and I'll come back and we'll start putting the next one together. So there's that one. Okay, for this one, I'm going to use, again, it's Betty's collection, but it is the Grungy Rose. So I have chosen some tan cardstock. And let's see which piece we'd like to use. I think there's nothing prettier than teal and brown. That's my thoughts. I like that one with it too, though. This may be a hard decision. Okay, let's go with the teal. I'm just wanting to go with teal right now. All right, so again, I'm going to cut this at 3 inches wide. So I know that's what size I want to use, what size I cut my paper. So I'm going to cut it at 3. Now, if you didn't want your paper to cover completely over this, if you wanted a little bit of this to show, then you could cut it a little bit shorter or a little bit narrower. You don't have to cut it that size. Okay. So we're going to score at 2. And then on this side, I'm going to score at 1.5. But then I'm only going to score at 1 3/8. That's just going to make an 1/8 of an inch little piece there. So I scored at 1.5, 1 1/8. And the 1 1/8 is 3 ticks past the 1. All right, this one we're going to score at 2. And then this one we're going to score at 2. Whoops. All right, Edith, you got to press down. This is thick cardstock. Okay. Now go ahead and make sure that your scoring is straight and your cutting is straight, and then burnish everything down well. Now the only difference is this 1/8 of an inch score line is a little bit tougher to score, but you can do it. Another thing I think I'll do is on this, I'm going to round those corners. I kind of like, I think I like those corners rounded. So, ooh, you know what? We could have waited till we put the paper on it and then rounded it, but we didn't. See, this is the way I do. I just go headlong into it. Okay, this is the top, I'm thinking. So we're going to put that on there. Just going to glue that down. And you can write on this brown cardstock too. Actually, a blue pen or even a black pen, a different color pen looks good on this cardstock. Really good. Okay. There we go. Right. And then carefully trim this off, just making sure that you go as straight as possible. There we go. So there is that one. This one is going to come next. Let's just make sure that we put the right one up there. And I'm just going to go ahead and glue mine on, and then we'll put them on there. If I get them a little bit off, that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Once again, we'll go ahead and cut that. Okay. Oh yeah, looks good. Now, I always let it fall and I forget what end I'm working on. That end right there. So we'll go ahead and put this one on. There we go. Now, we'll save these pieces because we'll use those. We can go ahead and glue this down. So I'm going to put some glue right at the top. And if you can drive straight, it helps a lot. If you can drive your glue straight. You know me, I can't, so. Alright. Right there. And then this one down here. Make sure that folds up, and it does. Now go ahead and give all of that a good burnish again. So there is that one. Now let's go ahead and cover this on the outside. And I'm not going to try to match it up to that one. You could if you wanted to, but I think I'll just put it on here. Then we shall trim this off. And we'll have enough for the inside. So one little piece of paper goes a long way. There we go. Okay, a little bit more glue. Okay, that's better. Now let's go ahead and find the center of this and poke our hole. And then, let's see. So, and we will punch 3 of these. Okay, we'll ink it up. And then we shall try to find the center of this and glue this down. Or punch a hole in this, I should say. So, about right there, I think. And let's find an eyelet for the, or a brad for this. Not an eyelet, Edith, not an eyelet. Okay, I think one of these green, no. Nope, it's gonna have to be a different color. Okay, I think we'll go with that little flower right there. Now these little brads I have had in my stash for a long time. These are from Making Memories. I don't even know if they're still in business anymore, but I've had those for a long time. And it was just a variation of little brads and eyelets. Okay, now let's go ahead and put this piece of paper on here. That will work. And goes my hubby rolling the... You can hear it all over when he does that. We live quite a ways off the road, so off the main road. So he hooks the garbage cans to the back end of our car and drags them down to the road, because we have two huge garbage cans, one for the store and one for the house. So instead, and they're big. They're those that they have to pick up with that big old thing. So he hooks them on the back of the car and he drags them down through there, and they make the most racket. I said, all of our neighbors know when you're putting the garbage out. He said, that's okay. At least they know I put my garbage out. And then when he drags them back up too, when they're emptied, he'll come dragging those back up. Okay, what is on my finger? Tape. And these I'm just inking in Vintage Photo because I think that goes well with that paper in the back. Very, very cute. Okay, now we can choose a seam binding to put on here. I'm going to have my little piece of tape ready this time. Hey, what do we think? Oh, let's see. Ooh, one of these. So crinkling again, sorry. Lots of crinkling noises. Let's see what this one, what color that says. This is mint. Oh, that's pretty. So let's see what color this is. This is aqua. So what do we think, mint or aqua? Ooh, I think either one would go, but I'm falling toward the mint a little bit because it's got some darker in there. So we'll pull a little piece out, and it's not going to take a lot. So I think we'll cut it right there. Okay. So there is that on. All right. So put that around there, and there is that one finished. Other than, let's embellish a little bit. So let me find some things to embellish with. I think I want another flower on here, if we have one that's anywhere near. That is near, but it blends a lot, doesn't it? So let's see if we've got one that's a little bit... That would work. Okay, I think we're going to go with this one because I don't see another one that is too close. So I think we'll go with that one. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right across the middle. And I know it has some blue in it, but I think it'll still work. And you can put it up there if you want it. I just kind of like it there in the middle. Now let's put, let's see, I want to put something right here. Don't know if we'll, let's see about a butterfly. We have all the pink butterflies. Oh, there's a little pretty one that would work. Or that one. We have lots of green butterflies. We have teal butterflies. Well, they're called blue, but I think some of them look kind of teal to me. That one's pretty. That's a darker teal, but it's pretty, isn't it? What do we think? What about, these are a little bit different. I think we might go with that one. since we went with the, and I just cut them off like this. I just cut through packaging and everything and cut them out like that. And then that saves my other one in the package. But these also, in the between the butterflies, they have some little words and things in there too that you could use if you wanted. Yeah, this is like a deep teal, so it'll go. And again, I just roughly trim out. I don't take a lot of time with it. So I think we'll put that one on this side. Now I don't have a clue how many more of these butterflies are left, but they're right on the front page of the shop. If you just go to new product, you'll see them when you first pull the website up. Oh yeah, I like that. It's a little darker, but it's the same color variation. It's the teal. All right, and then just a little label or something down here. Don't know if we have another label in here that we could use. We've actually got that we could put on there. Doesn't have any words on it, but it's a little label. Oh, that is actually a deep color of teal itself. I might put that one there. And I think I'll put that up there. Maybe. Okay, I'm going to put, yeah, maybe that'll work. I think so. And these don't need inking, I'm sure, but you know me. So, God, let's put him at the bottom. Maybe. Right there. Okay, there we go. Got another one finished. So these come together pretty quick once you choose your paper and then get your cardstock ready. And I like the scoring at 1/8 better than I do scoring at the 1/4. It lays down a little bit better. And I don't, like I said, I don't have these tight because I'm waiting for everything to dry. But once it dries, I can tighten this up. But see, this one's going to be a lot looser than this one. I could go back in and score another line, but that's okay. It'll work. It's still going to work just like it is. But that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to click that little bell if you want to be notified when we put up a new video. And we will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.